So we've just got about less than 20 minutes to discuss. We've got to go back into the main room at 11:55. So we'll try and keep it nice and brief. But Joe's going to type up some notes and then we're going to feed that back to the main room once we go back in. So what I would like to discuss first of all, and we've discussed a lot of this today, is what data source could potentially be used. So my role here at South East Water, I work alongside Andy Clowes in the team, and I've been involved with the data share with Maidstone Borough Council. And taking that data and moving customers onto social tariff. So that's been such a useful insight to us to data share. So what I would like us to talk about now is what data sources other than from the councils that we could use. Open up the floor. Any ideas? So we're going to have Joe actually type this up as a sticky notes for us, actually, which is very useful. Modern technology.
We use CAB already. Yeah,
okay. So do you get an updated file? Is that something that comes on a regular basis, Debbie?
Yeah, we use we have two actually. They register customers for assistance onto the priority service register, and that goes straight to our customer service team. And then the advisors actually send any detailed information for social tariff direct to me, and I will register them for that and help with any other queries that the customer has as well, with payment plans and financial health, etc.
Perfect. Any source that we would like to go out and take, like something we don't currently use. Andy mentioned something that come up in yesterday's session about free school meals. We're saying we've got no idea where that data's stored, but is that something, is like really thinking outside of the box of saying, is there other data? Yes, Debbie. You don't. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't shut up, do I?
No, keep going.
Sorry. This free school meals is actually one. I've got connections with a school, and I contacted them recently because obviously they're one of the ones that come up on our PSR with children under a certain age, and 3 of them. And I was thinking outside the box. Well, maybe I know that people have help at the school, and I contacted the school just to promote our services more to people with free school meals and that are on any particular register. I haven't gone any further with it yet because, to be honest with you, the school's full of COVID at the moment.
Yeah. So, time is bad, yes.
Exactly. So I was going to wait for the new year, but I did think it'd be a good link, but I don't know. The school was inviting me to go there and discuss with parents, etc., on a separate level, but I would like to take it further than that, with maybe with the Hampshire Council or something, because I'm sure if it was going to be on a big scale, it would have to be, an agreement that was set up for all the schools in the area. But that would be, I think that's maybe what was referred to yesterday. I'm not sure.
Yes, and that's exactly it. Is we hadn't thought about that, and we don't even know where we'd get that data. Who holds that data? Is it individual schools? Is it councils? Who would we go? But we just quite like that idea. So yeah. Any other ideas? No, not at all, Debbie. Any other ideas that we got? Like really thinking. I know that the DWP data share, 8 water companies have currently set that up, and that's it working through now the process. But is there any other local authority data that we think we could take? That we could share? Is that something anyone's thought about?
I'm Debbie from Open Site Hampshire. We support visually impaired people across Hampshire.
Okay.
So there is a record of certificate of visual impairment, which I believe is held by the Hampshire County Council. Maybe even the sensory services team could be the team that you need to link up with. So you'll get a better idea, and obviously they have access to that data directly. We don't, we just literally pick up from referrals, and obviously, but we have a database of 3,000 people on our books, but that's not the whole of the number that are visually impaired in Hampshire. However, the other tool, if you wanted number ratios to compare to see how many people you are reaching, is the RNIB data tool. And that will give you areas for Hampshire, well, all over the UK. Well, they will give you the different data of ages and poverty and et cetera, but that would be for the visually impaired community. So I don't know with regard to your priority list if that is worth tapping into. I can look
Absolutely.
up the link and put it in the chat box if you want.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. That's great. Thanks, Debbie. I think that's a really good suggestion, actually. And then it's where we'd go to, you know, that's great from the Hampshire side. If we then wanted to reach out to other counties, you know, how would, you know, I'm sure you could assist with that as well. Give us some advice.
Yes. So some of the is with the visually impaired world, there's some organisation who do hold the register. Say for instance, like the Kent area, I hear like different discussions from in the Kent area. You could well connect with Kent Association for the Blind, because I know that they deliver the rehab services for the county council in that area. So as like Open Site Hampshire, there are all organisation, countywide organisations. Some hold the register, some don't. And unfortunately in Hampshire we don't, but I know other organisations do.
No, that's really a really good suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And Debbie, anybody else got any other ideas that where we could get data? So that which data sources that, you know, that we think are available out there that we're not linked in with? Any ideas? Anything else? Something else that came up yesterday was blue badge data. So again, you know, from that side, which something we hadn't thought about for mobility for our PSR, the blue badge would be a good source of data.
Have you also considered hi, I'm Julia from UKPN. Have you also considered the fire and rescue services?
Yes, we currently, and I think we had Thames on yesterday, and Thames have a contract with the fire and rescue. But yeah, that's a really good idea as well.
Yeah,
yes.
And I believe Jane has been part of discussions on how that could be done across different utilities. But basically, they do what they call safe and well visits. So they basically visit properties of potentially vulnerable customers. So that could be in a way aligned to PSR, even though they're not exactly matching.
I think Sheila's been involved in that, haven't you, Sheila, with Jane? Yeah. So yeah, that's a good another source of data. Anything else outside of the box sort of thing that we, you know, for us it's the energy market. We would love to work with all the energy groups and get that data to, you know, to data share. We've all got the same customers. Debbie's put that link in. Thanks, Debbie, for that.
Yeah, and we're working closely with Jane and Andy on basically sharing PSR data between us. For now, it's more like between the DNO and water and vice versa, but we receive data from energy suppliers. So there is an opportunity to unlock that more widely as well.
That's perfect. Any last ones before I move on to the next question?
In Kent, so hi, I'm sorry, I'm Fiona. I'm the manager for Systems of Ice Swale in Kent.
Hi, Fiona.
The policy and practice benefit calculators, they have Lift, which is a platform where data information. KCC have recently just commissioned that, and they are starting to use that across some of the local authorities in the county. It's quite powerful data. It literally can take it down to the household within a street and start to target sort of benefit claimants, number of people in that household. So it might be sort of reaching out. I can share a link with you.
Oh, that'd be really good. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. What does LIFT stand for?
Oh, don't ask me.
Oh.
But I mean, I know we obviously, as our advisors, use policy and practice to do sort of benefit calculations. We talk about income max and obviously all stuff around that as well. But it's data, obviously, that a lot of local authorities are using, which is, as I say, is quite powerful. And in Kent, they have used it to target in particular older people, whereby they're not maybe claiming pension credit or sort of council tax support. So again, it's just sort of looking at whether or not that could be a useful resource as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Any resource I think is useful. I think, and if we can take from
Agreed.
a little bit of everything would be amazing. Okay, we'll move on to number 2. So we've only got 5 minutes left, less than 5 minutes. How can we work together to move this forward? So we've got some really good suggestions and ideas. As we said, you know, we're working with the local Kent County Council and Maidstone and Swale and lots of areas at the moment. How can we as a group work together to move forward ideas and suggestions? Any ideas? I think sharing the links is a really good one. I think we'll put that up there. You know, the fact we can use our network here now to share ideas. How else can we work together? Any ideas? Debbie? That's you.
As I'm the noisy one.
Not at all.
Sharing, well, basically just, if you've got the same area, you can share the information you hold with each other as well, which would assist people. Is that we have a joint one with SSEN where they give us details and we're able to put them onto our priority service register, but you could obviously extend that to lots of organisations. So basically, if we're under, like obviously citizens advice and money advice and places like that, they would be a good place to share information as well, because you know, we can point our customers to them for assistance, and likewise they could point people to us. So we could be sharing everything with everyone, shouldn't we, really?
Yeah.
To a certain degree, because obviously it's very difficult with data protection, etc.
Yes, and I think that's a good, you know, the lessons we've learned about getting our data sharing agreements over the line with the Maidstone Borough Council and getting that, we were the first ones to do it, is I think sharing best practices of how we've done it and how we've managed to achieve it. And then again, for all the other suggestions we've got, how else can we get them over the line? Is it feels like we have to be that company, that's the companies that stretch ourselves and saying, just because no one else has done it doesn't mean we can't do it. Let's think about how we can get this across the line. And it is about DPA and how we get that, over the line, which is difficult. It's not an easy task, but it's sharing best practices. Any other suggestions we've got coming through about how we can work together?
I think it's about making it sort of easy for our clients as well. You know, we're all fully aware of, GDPR rules and data sharing agreements, etc. But if it's kept simple, so is there a quick sort of link that we can put on our website, or that advisors might be able to just help a client to fill in, so that we can sort of divert, if you like, from the DPA requirements, but still obviously successfully assist a client and move them forward. It's just keeping the sort of processes simple, that don't necessarily we have to have a data sharing agreement in place for.
Yeah. So we've started something with third-party referrals on, and we've just setting that up onto our website now, just to make it easier for CAB to make referrals into us. But it's signposting, isn't it? It's making signposting available from, once one of us find a customer, it's sharing that customer across all the different utilities, financial, any of us get hold of somebody, it feels like we shouldn't let them go. We should be sharing, their situation and their vulnerability and support, how we can support them.
Another thought I've had is that whether there could be like a campaign for like digital media. Obviously through visual impairment, sometimes it's posters and things like that doesn't always work for people, but with social media and like radio, like audio format, we have like newsletters that go out in audio format as well as braille, large print, etc. So I think sometimes it could be the material needs to be accessible, but that could be something that we could work together with you guys to make that happen. But certainly digital media campaigns and like I say, putting messages out in newsletters, like drip feeding people the information so they keep seeing it, so that they know. And obviously for us it would be good if we come across somebody that would make use of the priority service, then we can signpost and know how we can do that, for either for you guys to follow them up with their permissions, or give them a telephone number where they can register themselves, because not all of the online a number of our clients are of the older age that are not digitally minded. So it's a case of the good old fashioned telephone that they'd like to use. So yeah, if there's that side of things would be useful for the visually impaired communities.
Oh, I think that's a great suggestion, Debbie. Okay, I think we need to go back into the other room and we'll share our responses back. So if you click back onto the main link now and enter back into the main room. Thank you everybody for inputting.